Welcome back to the Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. I am here today with two amazing players from the Amazing Race Season 35. Sad to see them gone, but they stayed consistently always in fifth place. Todd and Ashlie Martin, how are you guys today?
We're doing great, Mark. How you doing, man?
Doing all right.
I'm sad. I don't know about him. I'm like devastated. I still am not over this. Hence us wearing black today because we are in mourning.
Oh no. Yeah, it was like the most insane last 10 minutes of an episode in a while, where I literally was like, are the top three teams gonna be in the bottom three spots? And you guys kept talking about comebacks the whole time. Like, I can't even imagine like how. I'm just gonna ask straight up, how far behind were you guys from like from the top four teams?
Well, I think we're about 15 minutes behind
Okay.
the rest of the teams.
Yeah,
So.
I think it was either 10 or 15 minutes. So we weren't terribly far behind. So
But it sure felt like it. I mean, we were all alone, and we tell people, when you're like the race gets tough when you're ahead or when you're behind and you're with nobody, right? Because you don't know you don't know if you could mess up or what you're doing really. So it's definitely a feeling of being all alone towards the end there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's completely understandable. Especially the last few weeks, where it feels like the last team was always a few minutes behind or hours behind in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How did you guys get into the Amazing Race?
Oh my goodness. Well, this has always been my show that I've watched religiously. When Todd played basketball overseas, and the only show that we could access online just happened to be The Amazing Race. So I just kind of started it because it was the only English show we could watch. And after the first season, I was hooked. I would pull him in after practice and be like, we're binge watching every single season. And we've just been fans ever since. Now we watch it with our kids, and it's just such a great family show. I'm fully vested into this.
Yeah, that was her dream to go on the show. I thought never in a million years would we get on it. So we're super blessed to get on it. My dream show is The Challenge. So if The Challenge hears me, like, hey, hook a brother up. But yeah, so definitely it was fun. It's an experience of a lifetime. But definitely one of Ashley's dreams.
The fact that we were even able to get on, my mind is blown that we were even on the race. So it's definitely a dream come true.
Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. Everything that you're saying, like, especially with the way that the show has always been like an accessible show, makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd, you would be so good on the Challenge. Challenge USA, CBS, he's in the family.
Preach. Let's go, baby. Right? I don't know. Have they had a 6'7" guy on that show? I don't think so. I look like a giant, maybe. I think Fessie's a 6'5". So
not a far stretch.
Yeah, not a far stretch. Yeah. So
was this your first time applying for the Amazing Race?
No, we actually applied twice. I think the first time we applied was about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was just kind of a shot in the dark, and we didn't hear back. And then this last season, we were like, hey, you know what? Our kids are older now. Let's just give it another go. And we ended up applying. And when we got a call back, my whole face went white as a ghost.
Mark, check this out. Like, she was like, hey, let's do a video. I'm like, yeah. We'll never get chosen. It'll never happen. And she's just bugging me. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And we went full force, both feet in, let's go for it. And then literally we got a call back like 3 days later. So I was like,
I told you.
Wow, that's great. So as big fans, like, what was your strategy going into the process? I mean, obviously strategies change and everything like that, but like, when you're prepping for the game, what was your actual strategy?
My strategy was to politic and to get along with all the teams and to be an open book. So I went in there and I told the teams, hey, let's all work together. Let's help each other out until we don't. Like it's gonna happen. There's gonna be a point in time where we stop helping each other. And then our strategy too was to just kind of hang around, right, until we find that opportunity to really slingshot us to the front. Yeah. And we were right there, man, and it just didn't work out for us.
Yeah.
So
But I think the politicking really helped us, because the perfect opportunity, we talked about this when the U-turn came around, we would have been the perfect team to U-turn. And we probably would have U-turned ourselves. But I think because of the way we've positioned ourselves with all of the teams, like we are very non-threatening, especially when it comes to like how Todd presents himself, and he's so friendly with everyone. Him more so than me. He's more like.
Well, I was more of the goofball, always messing around. Me and Liam messing around the whole time, so it was a good time. But it was definitely one of those things where our strategy almost worked, but we just couldn't get over that hump.
Yeah.
I think like it worked really well. I mean, like honestly, like top 5 is not an easy thing to get to in this show.
Right.
Early, like one of my favorite early memories from you guys in the show was in the second episode, while Ashlie is doing the lotus flower from like that crazy horrible challenge. And Todd's there just hanging out with all the other teams, like, oh wow, Koi. That's one of the things I love so much about you guys as a team, of how you find the simple joys. What places were there other simple joys throughout the race?
I feel like every leg we found so many simple joys. I feel like, you know, because it's a show and they have to do cutting and editing, but I felt like him and I, the way we operate is we really do try to find the best in every opportunity. I will say, I think my favorite was probably in Germany when we rode the horse and had to throw the flowers. Like that was such a moment where we were just like living in, and I mean, we got to dance on stage and they didn't show it, but like Todd was like just being crazy. I was like rolling on the whirling on the floor just because we were in the moment so much, and it was just so fun.
And I think the simple joys for me was just the connection with people, whether it's with the other racing mates, like the competition, or just the local people, like finding that human connection. I mean, like at the bare bones of the show, it's about the people, right? And so I really enjoyed meeting new people, just hearing people's stories, just hearing a person's story on the bus that, you know, they didn't show it on the show, but we got in a lot of really cool conversations with people all across the world. And like, you can't purchase that, right? It's an experience, you know?
And that's beautiful. I mean, like, I would love being an Amazing Race eventually. Like me and my fiance have like been like watching this season together. I'd be like, which would you do? What would I do? And stuff like that. And it's just like really great seeing that kind of love shine through. So as I mentioned earlier, you guys are easily the most consistent placing team in this season. I'd say 5th place. I think like 5 of your legs, if I'm not mistaken.
Never got below 5th. We never finished below 5th place,
which is incredible.
Right.
What was the hardest leg? Because you guys never seem like you guys had a lot of issues throughout. I mean, obviously some bickering, but that's expected.
We're married.
What was the hardest leg?
Well, there's several. Like I would say the first couple legs were the hardest because it was new. We haven't had the experience in racing, and so the stress was super high. Stress management was really tough. But I would say the hardest leg emotionally was Slovenia when we missed the express pass. That was the biggest gut punch of our lives. Yeah.
Oh, we'll be talking about the express pass.
I will say for me, I think the most physically exhausting was this last episode. We didn't get any sleep when we flew in. I think we had maybe an hour to sleep before we were off. So I think for me, I was just so scared. And I think that like drained me emotionally and physically. And then, you know, to carry on that day, I need my 8 hours of sleep in order for me to function. So that was hard for me.
Yeah, totally. That's like one of the biggest like hurdles in my brain for the race. So yeah, at the top of that Slovenia, Germany into Austria. Let's start there. What I like to think of as a train alliance. All 3 teams are very strong, and all 3 teams seem to be working together. Was that an actual alliance, or did it feel like that? And what was it like with all the train issues in that part?
Chaotic.
Oh man, and it was long. You couldn't really tell, you know, because it's a show, but it was a long 3, 4, 5 hour trek, and that we went nowhere. But yeah, we were working together because we're like, hey, we're all in on these trains. Let's get it together, and then, you know, pass up the rest of the group. So we definitely did work together for that time.
Yeah, we had positioned ourselves to work together, at least for that leg. I wouldn't say for the remainder of the race. But I was pretty confident that was going to be the.
I mean, the cast was great because we all kind of had the expectations and our thoughts aligned, where it's like, hey, let's work together for now, but like, don't expect this, you know, in a couple hours when it comes down to the nitty gritty, you know?
So getting ready to wrap up, we have to talk about the Express Pass, which is, I think, one of the more thrilling 10 minutes of the show. You guys get there, and the camera shows you running past the entrance.
Yeah.
How long were you running around before you figured out that you were at the wrong spot?
Okay.
It felt like an eternity.
Yeah, we were legit about 10 to 15 minutes ahead of Corey and Rob, right? So we're a good amount, but we didn't know that at the time, but we were a good 10 minutes ahead. And what they don't show is like there's a jump, and then there's 2 other jumps right beside it. And so we're like, hey, it could be this one. We missed a little marker, which shame on us. And then so we're like, let's try the other ones. And
I will tell you, the first time I saw that marker was when I saw it on TV. So
wow.
I literally didn't see it. I felt like when we started, we must have been parallel with it, because our eyes just, we didn't. When you're in the
little thing,
tiny,
right.
yeah.
And I got a lot of buddies, because I don't know if the show talked about it, but I was a police officer for 7 years prior to being a teacher, and so all my cops are like, "Where's your observation skills, dude? Like, you know better than this. What happened to you? You know, you walk away from the profession, you get soft." And so it was just one of those things where it's like, man, I did not expect to be that guy, but we are that people. We are those people, you know.
Well, you also convinced Greg and John to try to get past Rob and Corey. Good strategy in that. Did you think that they were going to actually take it? Because you were like, yeah, you go try. And then they did.
Yeah, well, you know what? I wasn't really even thinking like, hey, let's get ahead of them. I really thought like they could have possibly caught him. I really did. The stairs are very deceiving though, because they start off very the slope isn't as steep, and it just gets steeper and steeper and steeper. So definitely I thought they could have possibly caught him, but
yeah. I'm still not over it.
Well, we gotta talk about last night a little bit. I mean, that skydiving is a thing that I feel like hasn't happened in the show in a long time. Actually, I know you had a lot of issues getting over that hurdle. I have a bad fear of heights too. What was it like being in that tiny little plane with like 10 other people getting ready to jump?
It was absolutely nerve-wracking. I was sweating profusely. I was like trying to like get my breath under control. And the scariest thing was I was closest to the window. So like I literally see everyone plopping out, just like boink. And every time I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Like, yeah.
Go ahead.
And Ashley's biggest fear is heights. And so it's funny, a little behind the scenes tidbit is Ashlie was actually crying before she got you. I was like, calm down, let's do it. And I was scared too. We prayed together, right? And like I wanted to cuss, but I was like, hey, I don't want my last words to be cuss words if I die, you know? So it was like one of those things where it's like, man, this is intense.
I think for me, the biggest challenge was I didn't want to miss out on this opportunity, right? But I will say that it took every ounce of everything in my power to not just grip the side of the plane and refuse to go. But the lady I was with was like, listen, I know this is going to be scary, but it's going to be so relaxing. And I'm like, you're a liar. There's no way that this is going to be relaxing. But it turned out to be such an incredible experience. I'm so proud of myself that I got over that fear. And I'd go right now to go.
Surprisingly, surprisingly, skydiving is not scary. It's very calm. You don't get that stomach falling feeling. You know, the stomach doesn't drop. It literally feels like you're floating. Yeah. It's such a cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, it looked so great, and it was so fun watching you after being like, let's do it again, basically.
Yeah, I know.
One last question, we have 30 seconds left. What's one thing on the race that you didn't show that you wish they showed?
You know what? I wish they showed our personalities a little bit more. Amongst the cast, we were known as the bubbly, fun, kind of the jokesters. Me and Liam were the joke, we were the class clowns a little bit. You got to see a little bit of that in Slovenia when I found the chains, 2 chains, right?
That was him the whole time. And so there were little moments that I wish that they would have shown of us just having a good time and joking with, when we would pull over and ask for directions, we would joke with people. And so I do wish that we saw a little bit more of that.
And our banter back and forth was pretty awesome. The way she keeps me grounded, and I'm like a squirrel that has ADHD. And so you didn't really get to see that much, but they did have a lot of our one-liners in there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You guys were very easy to cheer for, and thank you so much for sitting down with us today. And
Thanks,
I hope to see you guys in an All-Star season.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah.
Appreciate it.